Hi, I'm Angie, and today I'm making lemony lemon brownies. This recipe was forwarded to me by Carissa over at Happily Ever Paper Crafter, and it's been linked on a couple of blogs, so I don't think there was a video, and I thought I would show it to you. You can visit my blog at overthekitchencounter.com to get the link for the written recipe for these lemony lemon brownies. So let's get started. The first thing I did was preheat the oven to 350 degrees, and I've greased an 8x8 brownie pan. I've also zested and juiced 2 lemons, and you just kind of get what you get. You're going to need the zest for the brownie mix and also for the glaze at the end. So I've just done that in advance, and I'll set that aside and we'll use that a little bit later. My method of making the brownies is going to be a little bit different than what's written in the link that you're going to find on my blog, because I like to do it the traditional way of beating the butter and the sugar together and then adding the wet and dry ingredients after that. So for the dry ingredients, I've got 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour and just a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So I'm just going to combine those with a whisk, and I'll set those aside. So the first thing I'm going to do is cream the butter, and I've got 1 stick, which is 1/2 cup of butter. And I just like to cream that first to get it nice and smooth. And I'll cream that together with 3/4 of a cup of granulated white sugar. And just beat it until the sugar granules dissolve into the butter. And now I'll beat in 2 large eggs and 2 tablespoons of that fresh lemon juice that we already prepared. We'll just beat those together. You might want to scrape down the sides of the bowl. And now I'll beat in the flour mixture, the flour and the salt. You don't want to overmix this, just stir it until the flour is incorporated. Okay, and now I'm just going to stir in by hand some zest from the lemons. I want to reserve about a tablespoon for the glaze at the end, and I'll just put the rest right into the batter. And I'll just stir that in by hand. And that's it. I'm going to put that in my prepared 8-inch pan, and I'll bake this at 350 for about 25 minutes. I'll just smooth out the top, and you don't want to overbake these just until it starts going golden on the edges, otherwise they'll be dry. Smells pretty lemony already. So I'll pop the brownies in the oven for about 25 minutes, and I'll show them to you when they're done, and then we'll go ahead and make the glaze. Okay, it's been about 23 minutes and the brownies are done. So I'm going to let them cool completely in the pan on the rack, and once they're cool, then I'll add our glaze and double glaze them. The glaze doesn't set like an icing or a frosting. It's just going to be kind of a runny glaze on top of the brownies and very lemony. So I'll let the brownies cool completely, and then we'll add our double glazing. Okay, to make the very simple lemon glaze, I've got just a rounded cup of powdered sugar. I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of the fresh lemon juice and the rest of the lemon zest, just whatever you have from your 2 lemons. You want to make sure that you zest the lemons before you juice them. And I'll just whisk those together. What we're going to do is, once the brownies are completely cooled, we're going to use half the glaze and glaze the brownies and then let that set, and then use the rest of the glaze on top, so it's a double helping of glaze on top of the brownies. Okay, I'll set that aside, and when the brownies are completely cool, we'll do 2 servings of the glaze on top. Okay, so the brownies are nice and cool now, so let's get going on our double glaze. I'm going to pour about half of the glaze over the brownies and spread it out, and just let that set for a few minutes till it's a little bit thick on top. Okay, so I'm going to let that first layer set, and then I'll pour the rest of the glaze on top, and then the brownies will be ready to cut and serve. Don't forget to visit my blog at overthekitchencounter.com to get the link for the written recipe. Thanks for watching, and I hope you try some lemony lemon brownies.